Hello, everyone. I'm here to provide some channeled messages. So, if you are here, this might be for you. However, if it does not fit, do not force it. Take only what resonates and leave the rest. Okay, okay, okay. All right, let's get into it. These messages may resonate for your past, present, or future. Place yourself where you fit. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Okay. All right. So I have two symbols that I channeled messages from. Okay. One of them was from, I know the dates don't really matter at this point, but one of them was from April 24th, and the other was from the middle of May. I don't remember exactly what day, but yeah. But what's weird is that the one that I got in May seems like a precursor for the symbol from April. So it's interesting. It's kind of like, it's kind of like how healing is non-linear. It's back and forth, and it's kind of like how the past and the future are the same, just as they are the same as the present, as though it's all connected. There's something about like, two steps forward, one step back, or one step back, two steps forward. There's something about that, okay? In your energy at this time or in your journey at this time. Okay, so the first symbol that I got was a teddy bear and on the side of the road. And it really hit my chest. That's how I know when a symbol or a synchronicity is meant for me to interpret, is that it hits the chest, right? That's how you know when something is really for you. You see it and immediately you feel something in your vessel. That's how you know it's a message from spirit. Okay, and so this one, when I saw that teddy bear on the side of the road, it really felt like it didn't feel like, you would think that would be like sad, like, oh, like somebody lost it. But instead I got like this feeling of like triumph, or like of someone, yeah, it's like someone after something hard, like a long race or something like that, and they're like breathing a sigh of relief kind of energy is what came through. What I got here is that there's something that soothed you as a child that you've officially released. Now, this could be literal, like a stuffed animal or a blanket or something of that sort. Or this could be psychologically or emotionally, which I do feel is more relevant for most of you. Now, a teddy bear, a stuffed animal, is a safety vessel. When we were children, like for most of us as children, when we were scared or stressed, when we weren't crying, when we were going to sleep, when we were in places of vulnerability, and we couldn't quite handle it alone efficiently because, we were young. The safety vessel handled that weight, handled the fire, took care to comfort us, helped us to regulate our emotions. There's something that you used to use to regulate your emotions that either this was maladaptive or you've already outgrown, or you've just outgrown it, okay? Take what resonates there. It was either maladaptive or you outgrew it. It was some sort of mechanism or conditioning to help you soothe yourself that it just no longer serves you for whichever reason it might be. Okay, and this is because you have found new ways of soothing the self, or you know how to regulate now. As a child, you needed that stuffy, you needed that, that self-soothing mechanism because you couldn't you couldn't do that self-regulation alone. Now as an adult, you are able to self-regulate. You don't need anything, you don't need co-regulation. You are able to self-regulate. Though co-regulation can definitely be beneficial or helpful, you can self-regulate now. So there's there's a soothing, self-soothing mechanism that is no longer needed. And there's something like relieving about that. It's like it was almost like it was like a something to carry, right? It was like a bag that you carried, was something that soothed you as a child. You've outgrown it. You've outgrown something that you used to use to make you feel better. Okay, and for some of you, I was also picking up this symbol as having wholly worked through or integrated a childhood wound. Now, this would most likely be like an abandonment wound or a neglect wound, considering the teddy bear was on the side of the road, right? And when you're going through abandonment or neglect, you need to self-soothe. You need to have those mechanisms because there's no one there to help you regulate. There's no one there to co-regulate. There's no one there to soothe you. So you end up having these safety vessels and develop these mechanisms for soothing yourself, for regulating yourself. And there's something there that you have integrated, something that you have wholly worked through. Now it's not exactly to say that it's something that's completely healed, because if it's integrated, that means there's an aspect of it that we use for our benefit, for our self-empowerment, right? So you have integrated something that you used to use, or something that you used to protect yourself, right? There's some sort of mechanism that has been released. You're no longer affected by feelings. What I got from this message, what I got from seeing that teddy bear and not feeling like, oh, but feeling more relief, a sigh of relief or a breath of relief, like a, it's kind of like, wow, like I got that done. It felt more like, you're no longer, because I didn't get sad, it's like you're no longer being affected or triggered by feelings of being put to the side or, ignored or outcasted, because there is such an assured essence to the identity that you have, or the modality that you are moving through life with. There's this assuredness to yourself and to your life at this time. So it's like, if you are ignored, if you are put to the side, if you are outcasted, it's like it's almost like it just feels here like it's not an issue. It's like you carry on by yourself because you are self-reliant here. Your focus is no longer on connections, but more so right now, it's more so on building a way for yourself that feels more aligned than the wounds of your past. Narratives and perspectives that are more aligned with the core of yourself, with the more integrated version of yourself, the integrated inner child, rather than the wounded inner child. Okay, there's something you're able to soothe without the need for co-regulation and co-soothing, for a safety vessel. Again, not a bad thing, right? Not a bad thing to have. They can be beneficial. They can be helpful. It's just like, this is just a thing. Like you don't need it anymore. It's not a bad thing to need it, but you don't need it anymore, right? Okay, and then the next symbol that this symbol ties to the teddy bear symbol. And this was a beauty blender that was in the road. It was a blue beauty blender, which I just remembered that it was blue. So now I'm going to tie that into the message. But yeah, the message that I got here was that you are leaving masks in the past. You are dropping all false pretenses on the old path and entering the new path with authenticity, with no more covers, with no more pretending. That beauty blender it's gone. It's kicked to the side. It's left in the dust, right? The masks, the false pretenses, or the pretending, the covering up of the self, it's left in the past. It was just dropped right there in the middle of the path. It's like you hit a point where you were like, I'm done. I'm not performing for anyone. I'm not placing myself under covers to make other people feel comfortable. You hit a spot where you're like, this, I'm just going to show who I am. I'm going to leave this shit behind. And it was like right in the middle of the path. You just dropped it there and took on a new path. You took on a new path. It was just like, almost like an overnight shift, or it was something sudden, like something clicked for you. And you were like, okay, I'm moving on. All right. And it's not just about false pretenses, outwardly, it's inwardly as well, right? It's the masks of playing small, the masks we put on to play small. It's the mask of biting your tongue. It's the mask of performing when you're actually exhausted. All right. And the reason that this ties into the teddy bear message is because when we are afraid of abandonment or neglect, we end up doing this whole people pleasing thing where we wear those masks, those covers, we pretend, we perform so that we fit in, so that we feel like we're being taken care of or we're supported or like people want to be around us. So, and it's like you've dropped that. There's a childhood wound that's been integrated that allowed you to drop that beauty blender. Why am I doing it that way? It's behind, that's why. That enabled you to drop the beauty blender because you no longer have the need to put on the mask, because you are no longer scared of others leaving you, because of that security that you have within you now. All right. You feel like you have yourself to lean on. You are able to self-regulate. You are in control of your emotions. You know where you're going. You know who you are. There's very much like a know thyself, trust thyself kind of energy here. Very much fulfilled. There's a pride within the self because you are able to do it on your own. Abandonment and neglect are really not possible when you are self-sufficient, resilient, and optimistic, because hurt is a perspective. Being abandoned or neglected, unless you are, 7 years old and your parents are leaving you, it's not really possible if you have that strength within yourself. If you are a grown adult and you are taking accountability for who you are and for your life, then abandonment and neglect, can't really be a thing. It's just someone leaving, right? Because abandonment and neglect comes from that wounded perspective, that wounded inner child, that Ten of Swords kind of feeling like a victim, right? There's something about that here that's been healed. No longer seeing yourself as victimized by the presence, time, attention of other people. It's completely being reliant on your time, your energy, your attention, your love and affection and support. Okay. Again, hurt is a perspective and it's also a lesson, right? And there's some sort of lesson that you've learned around the programming of infantilizing, where maybe there was times in your life where you were made to feel like people tried to make you feel like you were more incompetent, or like you couldn't fend for yourself, or like you didn't know what you were doing or where you were going or who you were. It was people were trying to program into you, whether this was in your childhood or even in your adulthood, as though people were trying to program into you this thought that you needed others, that you needed to outsource validation, appreciation, support. Okay. And now it's all coming from the inside. You no longer need to cover up, and you no longer need this safety vessel, because you feel safe within the self. All right. And the number that's been coming through recently is the number 17. Now that's been coming through for several days, and it's like getting stronger. Like today it was like in my face, the number 17. And I was like, okay, let me get into the number 1 and the number 7. Okay. So the number 1, is of beginnings, individuality. It's leadership because of that individuality. Creative life force is really powerful when it comes to the number 1. And because of that creative life force, you can come into leadership qualities through the numerology of the number 1, okay? Independence and trusting in the self, okay? Manifesting because of this self-trust. The self-trust of the creative life force, of your ability to create, all right? There is a great amount of creation, like creating your own reality. It's magician energy, right? Okay, and then we have the number 7, which is energy of the underlying, the unseen, the spiritual aspects of life. It's philosophy, therefore intellect. And philosophy is the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence. Okay, so it's philosophy, therefore intellect. It's a lot of pondering. It's a lot of reflection and introspection, kind of hermity energy. Therefore wisdom and intuition. Okay, and when I put these two together, Number 17, I channeled some messages here. What I got was philosophical advancements. So it's like, I feel for a lot of you, there's a lot of pondering that you're going through at this time. Number 17 is the star card. I wrote that there. Is the star card. And the star card is all about renewed sense of hope. It's about faith. It's about trusting in the divine to guide you. It's about feeling blessed by the universe. Having a renewed sense of possibility, of opportunity. It brings in calming because of this. It brings in healing and a sense of peace. And this is what you have been going through. You've been in this healing after the tower, all right? After a destruction and a reconstruction. You are in this phase of healing, of rest, of rejuvenating the soul. Right now you are divinely connected and divinely inspired because of that connection. All right, that star energy. Right now, because you're in this phase of resting and healing, there's a lot of introspection and reflection. You're able to ponder a lot. There's a lot of wondering. There's a lot of thinking. There's a lot going on intellectually, all right? And so you could be having new realizations or connecting more dots, or, you're expanding. There's an expansion of spiritual wisdom here through the internal, okay? Through self-discovery. And the number 17, I also got alchemy, because of there being, number 1, the creative life force, and independence, and 2, being wisdom and intuition and the unseen. I don't know how exactly I got the alchemy. It was something about like internal. What I got from the number 17 is something about like internal transmutation. Okay, more magician energy. Like, I know it's the star card, but I'm getting magician energy. Very much I am the creator of my own reality type of energy here. Okay, you have very much an enthusiasm in what you know and what you don't know. Okay, there's a lot of growth going on through learning right now, through spiritual knowledge, and just through learning in general, education, studies. There's something about like air element right now. A lot going through the mind, a lot of like making new pathways, a lot of interest. Like you're very intellectually lit up right now. And it could be very much so because we are in Gemini season at this time, which very much revolves, that must be why I'm getting the magician card. It very much revolves around communication with the higher self and creation, manifestation of the desires through the creative life force, okay? So yeah, a lot of expansion going on, and you're being guided at this time through the powerful intuition that is attached to your spiritual life force, okay? You're very self-reliant on your knowledge and your internal guidance system, all right? And because of this, you're stepping into a new leadership role, into a spiritual leadership role. You're starting something on your own here. And it's because you know thyself, trust thyself. Like, those vibes are really coming in through very strong, okay? Magician and star energy. Know thyself, trust thyself, rejuvenate the self. You're inspiring yourself. You're imbuing yourself with hope, and you are putting faith in the divine to co-create with you, okay? And this is really helping you to manifest something into the physical. There is manifestation, new beginnings that are developing behind the scenes. That's what I got with the number 17. Your spirit team is assisting you in creation at this time, okay? There's expansion from underneath the surface because of the reflection, the pondering, the learning, the studying that you're doing. There's also something that's coming from the unconscious to the conscious, and I think it's either a new spiritual gift, or you're deepening your spiritual gifts, or there's some sort of download or a part of the self that like hasn't been there for a while. Okay, there's something that's coming from the unconscious to the conscious. It's coming to the forefront to be expressed, to be seen. Okay, and it's something that assists with your manifestation abilities, or it's something that empowers or boldens your star quality. Okay, that solar plexus energy, the life force, number one, the individual characteristics of yourself. Okay, there is a need here to be wary of stubbornness, of impatience, of overthinking and controlling tendencies, because number seven is, because there's so much pondering going on, because there's that philosophical, there's a need to be mindful of and wary of you know, where your mind is going, how far it's going. Like, don't let it stray too far away. All right, that's something that I got here. Don't let it stray too far away for too long by itself without connecting with others. Okay, going into that hermit mode for too long without human communication interaction, because this will lead, this will lead you to isolate yourself, and then you will become detached from emotionally expressive skill sets. Okay, so be mindful of that. I did that at some point. I went into a hermit mode for several months last fall. I was in hermit mode for about 4 months, and then when I came back out into the world, I was a little bit disconnected socially, and so I was disconnected from some social cues. I ended up getting myself into an abusive relationship, and I had to relearn how to express myself emotionally. I had to relearn how to recognize social cues, like red flags and such. Like, I had to realign to society, basically. So be mindful of how much time you spend by yourself away from others. Even if you are super, content in your solitude, just be mindful that you're also staying connected. You're staying hip, you're staying connected to the modern world. You want to stay connected to reality. All right. That is something to be mindful of with a number 7 present in this. Okay. Being a little extra dreamy. Be careful. Okay. Just be careful with how far you go into your mind and for how long. All right. It's not negative to ponder, to explore, to be philosophical, to expand the mind. Just be mindful that you're not detaching yourself from society in that, okay? In that quest for knowledge, do not completely detach yourself. A level of detachment is very healthy. But to the point where you do, as I did, and you you lose social cues and stuff like that, then that's more detrimental to the self. That's harmful to the self. So that's a message for somebody here. Balance. Okay, there's a need for balance. But yeah, there's a lot of powerful ability to manifest with this energy. There's new opportunities that you're bringing into your life, that you're calling in through both your manifestation abilities and through your self-assuredness. Okay, this self-confidence, this optimism and charisma is what's really coming in through with this number 17, with the 1 and the 7 together. The self-confidence, this optimism, this charisma comes from the spiritual knowledge and seeing the unseen, being connected to the the underlying layers of things, the underlying nature of things. And this bodes very well for you socially and in business, okay? This charisma, this confidence within the self, because of the knowledge that you possess. All right. Yeah, and be mindful, not to give into your controlling tendencies with that number 1 being present in the number 17. Because the number 1 is so driven, ambitious, focused on the future and wanting to get things done. It can end up being a little controlling because it wants things done its way, because it is creating a reality that it wants to create. So be mindful that you're not going too far, that you're not wanting others to mold to, whatever you're trying to create, because that is going against other people's, free will. That's a no-no. So be mindful, magician, what you are doing with your magic, okay? Read between the lines. Doesn't have to be literal. Okay, and then adding 1 and 7 together makes the number 8. And the number 8 is the number of the achiever. This is about this. The number 8 is about like your abundance, abundant energy, which is very present at this time with the star energy because of this renewed sense of hope, of feeling blessed, of having dreams and like chasing them, creating the reality. There's a lot of abundant energy here. You're going to have success. Okay, you're going to your personal power and your success is going to be coming from your ambitions with your spiritual knowledge. Okay, the enthusiasm in manifesting from your own life force, okay, is part of where your leadership and your influence comes from. It's that your magnetism is from your charisma, is from knowing thyself, trusting thyself, is from that self-assured spiritual position, that high priestess type of position, okay, being very set in an intuition and being very self-reliant upon the intuitive abilities and upon the personal individuality and the guidance system of the self, of the higher self. Okay, this is your balance. This is your balance. This is your leadership influence. Okay, it's characterized by that spiritual knowledge. It's characterized by the enthusiasm you have for what you create. You have a much confidence in what you create, and this inspires others and empowers others to be confident in what they would like to create. Okay, so that is the message that we have here today. And I was going to... that can stay there. I was going to pull from the Gaia Oracle, but it looks like my deck is wanting to be touched on here. So we're going to see what messages my deck has for us today. Spirit, what messages do we have for the collective? What message? We have the World and the Seven of Pentacles, okay? There's some sort of completion that's taking place. The Seven of Pentacles. This is about integrity. This is about hard work. This is about sticking to your values, your morals. Oh, there's 3 of them here. This is about completion. The Trishul, power and authority. This is about triumph. That feeling of, I did it, that I was saying in the beginning of the reading. Like after a long race and you finish the race and now you're like, you breathe out that sigh of relief. You don't have to run anymore and you did it all by yourself, That's the feeling that's coming through with this Trishul. Okay, you stuck to your values, you stuck to your morals, and in that you also stuck to your understanding and compassion for human emotion. Okay, that empathy. Integrity is about your morals, your values, your ambitions, and sticking to that. But I also feel integrity, it's more than just that. It's also the integrity of how you treat others, okay? The compassion, the understanding, the empathy. All right, so because you stuck to something, you stuck to your guns is what I just heard. Because you stuck to your guns and you stuck to what you believe in, you stood up for what you believe is right, and you followed down that path, it has led you to a place of power and authority. Again, with number 8, your power, your success, your balance lies in your high priestess quality, in your intuition, in the wisdom that you hold, in that spiritual knowledge that you possess, that you share, that you are able to help others through. Okay, with the World card, it's like you have completed something. Again, how I had said, you have wholly worked through something. There's something that has been triumphed over. You have wholly worked through some sort of abandonment wound. Okay, can I get more information on the Trishul, please? More information on the Trishul energy. Ooh, there you are. Deprivation. Deprivation of what? Affection, support. When you're abandoned or neglected as a child, you're deprived of emotional support. You're deprived of connection. You're deprived of co-regulation. Okay? So what you have power over now is that this authority is that you're giving all of this to yourself. With deprivation, this is a longing. This is a lack of basic necessities. With the Trishul, you have personal authority to provide all of the things that you were once deprived of to yourself. Okay, and even if you weren't actually deprived of these things, anything you once felt you were deprived of, you now have the power and the authority in your life to provide it all for yourself. Okay, you have built this up. This is something that you have grown for yourself. Okay, you're no longer feeling like you are removed from, oh my gosh, Trishul, power and authority. And on the back of this, it says removal from position of authority or power. You're not removed. You're not deprived of your own power and authority. Okay. At one point, maybe, yeah, you were playing small with that teddy bear, with this abandonment, neglect wound, that beauty blender, having to cover, pretend, perform. When you were feeling deprived, whether you actually were or weren't, what I'm talking about here is the feeling of being deprived. Okay. When you were feeling like you were deprived, you were feeling as though you were playing small, like you were powerless, like you had to look up to others. Or again, there could have been people that tried to program you into believing that you were helpless, that you needed, birth for confirmation, that you needed to outsource, your desires, your support, your healing, etc., etc. Okay, removing yourself from your position of personal power and self-authority. Okay, you were removed from it. It was like you were taking away from yourself by looking towards others or another person or your parents, etc., to provide it for you. Okay, you have come into this place of stimulating and encouraging yourself. All right, you have turned that empathy, that compassion, that understanding inwardly. Okay, and so now you are seeing this sense of self-care, nurturing the self, caring and tending to your values and your morals, aligning and staying aligned with that. You're no longer deprived of your position in your own life. Like, you've taken the role. At once you played small. You are not in your throne. You let other people sit in your fucking throne and tell you what to do with your life, who to be in your life, how to speak in your life. Okay? And that those people sitting in your chair, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that beauty blender in the road. You were like, can you get the fuck out of my throne, please? Like, that's the kind of energy it feels like. You're like, can you get down from there? That's my fucking chair. Okay, you hit a point where you were like, why am I letting everyone else sit in my chair? Like, that's rightfully mine. Okay, you have taken the position of leadership within your own life. And this is influencing others, okay? Because there's something that you have integrated internally that kind of emulates some sort of vibration or frequency outwardly. And it's something that other people are like picking up on here. Okay, there's something about that here. But we have grasping with that deprivation. Okay, it was like desire to possess something belonging to someone else. It was as though like you were letting others take care or take over what was yours, to possess what was yours, whether that was your time, your energy, your attention, your what you studied, the way that you healed, whatever it might be. It was like you let others do it because you were afraid to lose. You were preserving yourself from loss. You were preserving yourself from harm or from ruin. Okay, by playing small, by wearing the mask, by taking that beauty blender and fucking layering your metaphorical face. Okay. And now you've thrown that away. And you've removed the makeup. You're no longer desperate or overcompensating for this lack of self-worth or this lack of self-nurturing, okay? Now that you are aligned with your values, your morals, taking care of the self, okay? because you are so, because there's a lot of self-focus here. You're no longer deprived of your own power and authority. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. The world card. Okay? There's something that's completed. There's something that's whole. There's something, there a puzzle piece has been found and something clicks into place and something manifests because of this. Okay? Closing message for this collective, please. Closing message, please, Spirit. Ooh. Hello. We have 36, Moonlight, travel, romance, and potential. I love that because right now we're in the star, 17, and the next is 18, the moon. And we also have intuitive communications, silent whispers of the heart. And this is the card that we had in yesterday's message, or the last message. I won't say yesterday, the last message. Oh, and behind that we have harmony, power, self-confidence, and productivity. The start of something new. See, this is where you are at. You are listening to your heart. You are guided by your intuition, by your by what all you have discovered about yourself. You are guided by, your wisdom. You are guided by your enthusiasm for knowledge. Okay, your heart is wanting to learn something. Your heart is wanting to expand and embrace, okay? And you are following the intuition of the heart, okay? Yeah. Moonlight, travel, romance, and potential. Romance is in the air. You will soon travel to somewhere special. A romantic evening leads you to discover a source of untapped and virtually unlimited potential. A simple yet inspirational idea comes to you, and will have you look at life from a new perspective, and that could be part of that number 17. Okay, simple yet inspirational idea. Number 7 is about the unseen, but it's also about wisdom and expansion. Number 1 is about it's about creation. It's about individuality. It's something that's coming to you, a bright idea. Through this, you will create something new, something that will be of lasting value. Relax, unwind, and enjoy this time. As I had said, you're in this phase right now of resting, of rejuvenating, of replenishing, of resting. I just said resting twice, didn't I? The reflective light of the moon fills your heart with love and reveals a deep well of untapped creative possibility. This introspection, this pondering that you are doing within, this is that reflective light of the moon. The moon is that unconscious. You're bringing something from the conscious into the conscious, okay? Because you're going in and reflecting in your heart space. And it's revealing to you the creative possibility ahead of you, that number 1. There is creation. You are creating something, and you're just in the beginning stages, the start of something new. You're just in the beginning stages of creating some sort of new reality for yourself, the way that you would like it to be, okay? This is beautiful energy. There's a lot of potential, a lot of possibility. It's like the air is buzzing at this time, okay? It's very palpable. You have, your hands are very powerful at this time. Getting into like Reiki or some sort of energetic work might be very beneficial, or working with crystals would be, it would be very aligned at this time. Okay, would probably help you enhance this energy of the star. Okay, so we have Aquarius energy, we have Gemini energy, we have Aries energy, and we have Pisces energy. Okay. Yeah. I hope that this message found everyone that it was meant for. I hope it found you in a very open and receptive state. Thank you for allowing me to tap into your energy today. Thank you for spending time with me and allowing me to read for you. I am extremely grateful for you spending some of your time with me. If it resonated, don't be afraid to leave a like and a comment. If you are drawn to me as a reader, I do offer personal energetic readings at this time for $45. My email will be in my bio. If you are interested, please reach out. I'm open to working with anybody. Don't be afraid to reach out, okay? And until next time, guys, much love. Bye.